handles the flow of money and borrowing and a lot of other things, which is going to dictate what type of environment we go into. But inflation is still alive and well. It even was during a very difficult period of time. We need to have our clients earn a higher rate of return to simply outpace inflation, okay? Your clients do not need, I think this is the scary thing about variable products. I think a lot of agents and a lot of clients think, I need to be up here with the real aggressive stuff, which I can't handle because it makes me sick, it's like a roller coaster, or I'm putting my money down here in the Folgers coffee can in my backyard, right? It's chocolate or vanilla, you know, but I'm here to tell you there's definitely spumoni, right? There's strawberry or something. And here's why I love your dry erase markers, and here's why I ordered them for you today. You're sitting down with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you say, Mrs. Smith, I want to talk to you about variable universal life. I want to talk to you about cash value accumulation and what it can do for your family. Oh, no, Colleen, don't talk to me about that stock stuff. I can't handle it. Mrs. Smith, this is where you take this is where you look so cool. You take your dry erase marker and your Ibbotson chart, and you say, Mrs. Smith, we're going to develop for you a diversified portfolio to get a higher rate of return to outpace inflation. We're going to create a diversified portfolio to get a higher rate of return to outpace inflation. Again, you don't need to be down here with the Folgers coffee can, and you're not up here with the tech growth stock that you can't handle. We definitely have different types of investments to match your risk tolerance and your time horizon, okay? So having this conversation and talking about the volatility, talking about the peaks and valleys, saves you a lot of, I think, heartache when the market has one of those corrections. I hate that word too, correction. No, the market sucks, not a correction. But that's what I mentioned, I was kind of going down this path earlier. The way you get an average, again, to have an average annual return of 11.9%, you have to be down 80, and then you're up 70, and then you're down 10, and then you're up 12. That's how an average becomes an average, is that disparity in numbers and a long darn period of time. So you have to talk about this and the long-term nature of this product. And again, permanent cash value is a long-term proposition. And so when you have this quick conversation, when you're in the presentation stage, then they go, when the market does go into the toilet, then they go, oh no, you know what? Colleen told me this is a long-term investment. I've created a portfolio that matches my risk tolerance, maybe kind of middle of the road. I'm fine. You know, maybe your phone's ringing a little bit less, okay? I mean, I'm going to pick on Brianna, what's the FEUL paying right now?
3%.
Isn't it nice? Right, you're right here, right? You're not outpacing inflation. So getting 5, 6, 7%, or getting 8, 9, 10, 12% rate of return is cool, but getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% average annual rate of return is very important. So I love using this, and I'll tell you, in this John Murray story, I use 10%, and I only use 10% because you guys are insurance professionals, okay? If I was sitting down with a client in this environment, even though the market is smoking right now, people still remember 08, right? It was only 5 years ago. They remember that very, very well. It's interesting. They actually say that for younger individuals who grew up in 2008, for the last 5 years, a lot of people in their early 20s will never want to invest in the stock market because they saw how it affects their parents. So, or how it affected their parents. So it's a very interesting time in the last 5 years. So in this environment, I would absolutely want to under-promise and over-deliver. So I would be showing an 8 in this environment. To answer, I think, Ruth, that was your question earlier. I'd be showing 8. But I think, again, for purposes of our conversation, I'm showing 10. Okay? Yes, anyone have a question? Okay.
By the way, the chart that they used in your last video, the Ibbotson chart that they showed,
Yeah.
basically ends
It stopped.
in 2009. At the
It
worst
stopped
time.
right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look what we have here. All of a sudden back up. So, love this piece. You guys can get these all day from our friends over at our Principal Funds. A great companion piece. And I'll tell you, you'll have a good conversation with your clients, and they'll say, Charles, can I take this home with me? Can I have that? You know, and people love them. So they're free. You can get them all day. So. long. Okay, I'm gonna talk about expenses. Again, this is our engineer client scenario. I'm not telling you to be boring. I just want you guys to feel comfortable, like you know this like the back of your hand. So please turn to page 7 of 15 inside your illustration. Okay. So do you see at the very top of your page 7 of 15 how it says we are earning a 10% rate of return, which nets out to be 8.78. Why is that? It is expenses. And what's your name?
Debbie.
Debbie. It's expenses, but not all of them. So we're going to talk about expenses. Right off of the top come two expenses, and they're the ones I have with the asterisks. Your M&E and your sub-accounts. Average charge for the sub-accounts come right off the top, okay? Before your client makes a dime, we take out those two charges. Anyone know what M&E is? Not everybody at once? Charles, you want to say it? It's a mortality and expense charge. So here's I'm going to tell you guys, since we have some time, I'm going to tell you guys my engineer story. So at the time, before I was with Farmers Life, I was with Farmers Financial Solutions, and I was the #1 wholesaler out of all the wholesalers. We only had 11 of us, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But anyways, one of my agents called me and said, Rachel, I got this engineer client. He wants to buy $1 million VUL. He's shopping us. Rachel, he's reading the prospectus. I'm really scared, come out. And I went, okay, I'll talk to that engineer. I will show him. And true to form, this guy had our prospectus, their prospectus, a highlighter, and a ruler. And we were going down line by line. And I'll tell you, there's 5 charges in each and every VUL, okay? And so I want to show you how our 5 charges stack up against, I'll give you a little bit of a competitive perspective here. And we were up against Northwestern Mutual in that particular scenario. Because you can't look at the illustrations. If you look at our illustration versus Northwest Mutual's illustration, you really can't tell what's a less expensive contract. Because remember, we see in ours, we took 10%, we only illustrated taking out 2 charges under those non-guaranteed values, right? So Northwestern Mutual could take out cost of beer at their Christmas party, or whatever they want to illustrate. So you've got to look prospectus to prospectus if you are in a competitive scenario like this. Now I'll tell you, I have old expenses versus new expenses, and it's not because I'm crazy. We changed to this contract in 2007, but I'll tell you, I don't know who's the most tenured agent here? Ruth, how long have you been around? 29 years, okay, so I'm going to say Ruth was around in 2007, and maybe she used to love writing VUL. Then we changed the contract, and then 2008 happened, and there's some agents that said, I used to love writing VUL, and I'll never write that again, because I heard you guys screwed it up. I hear that, I still hear that to this day. So, and here's what we did. When we changed our VUL product, and the reason we did that was because we had to go on the new mortality tables, we changed our admin fee from $5 to $12. And agents were pissed. I was a wholesaler at the time, and my phone was ringing and going, Rachel, you mean to tell me we can't write $25 a month VUL juvies anymore? And I went, no, you can't. It didn't work anymore. And that's when we wrote a lot of juvie policies in the VULs back in that time. And so I had to look and see what the industry was doing. Anyone have any idea? And admin stuff, it's just like you'd imagine. It's licking stamps, sending out envelopes, mailing out 4-pound prospectuses. It's admin stuff. Anyone want to take a stab at what New York Life charges per month for admin? Charge $30 a month. 30. MetLife charges $26. Northwestern Mutual charges $24. Again, in a contract that is reasonably expected to last 20, 30, 40, 70, 80 years, I have never seen that, and I do a lot of competitive analysis, not as much as I used to, but I still do some. I've never seen anybody charge $12 a month. And it was so nice to be able to say that back when I was a wholesaler, because I was going, oh man, we're in trouble.
Can you, did you just do those numbers real quick?
Yeah, Northwestern Mutual is 24, New York Life is 30, and MetLife is 26. The cheapest I've ever found is Ohio Assurance Something Life, No, something like, they charge 15, actually they're actually a really good company. I never heard of them, so I was surprised. They charge $15 a month for admin. Okay, so we are very, not that being cheap is what we need to be, but it's nice to know that we're less expensive in that particular instance. Mortality and expense. So here's my story about my guy. So we're in the client's office, we're in the agent's office, we're going line by line with the prospectus, and this client says, okay, what's your M&E? And I say at the time it was actually 90 basis. I said it's 90 basis points. And he goes, okay, and it was Northwestern Mutual was 1.25. And he goes, okay, well what is it? And I go, it's mortality and expense. And he goes, no, what is it? And I said, it's 90 basis points. And he goes, no. I'm thinking, God, this guy is not very smart for an engineer, right? He goes, no, is that the cost of insurance? And I go, no, that's a totally separate charge. And fortunately, he let me off the hook because we were less expensive, I guess. But I went, what the hell is mortality and expense? I didn't even know how to define it. So here's what it is. If our client died on the exact day that farmers thought they were going to die, this charge would be 100% pure profit to the life company. It is, in its most, the easiest way to describe it to a client, if you're ever in this scenario, it is a margin of error that we assess on our cost of insurance. It's a charge because your client lived a little bit longer than we thought they should live, okay? It's wiggle room. Everyone charges it, and on average, they charge 1%, okay? I don't know, we must have the most smartest and the most attractive actuaries at Farmers Life, because I've never seen everyone charges about 1%. This is actually unheard of. So, again, we don't need to be the cheapest, but it's kind of nice. Our sub-account options, again, these are the options for the investments of that cash value, are a range. They range from 20 basis points. What happened? Oh, I turned it off.
There you go.
They're a range. They range from 20 basis points, which is the Fidelity VIP Index 500, all the way to the most expensive things we have, or we don't say, do we say most expensive in sales? Best value, no. Templeton Global Asset Allocation Fund, that's 124 basis points, as is Sam's Strategic Growth. Those are a tie for most expensive. Mine, my husband's, and my two sons, we are all 100% invested in Sam's Strategic Growth, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. So again, they range. Everything else is about 1, about 85 basis points to 1%, okay? Everyone know what basis points are? So it's real simple. So it's a way to, whoa, what the heck? Oh my gosh.
I got it.
It is it's a way, so 1% equals 100 basis points, right? So a percent is 50. So it gets a way to measure a fraction of a percent, okay? They call them beeps sometimes. So 124 beeps. Yeah, sound cool. Okay, so cost of insurance, that's kind of a personal charge. And again, I mentioned before, when we changed our contract, that was because every life insurance contract in the United States had to come off of the CSO 2001 mortality table. And yes, it is 2013. That's how mortality tables take a long time to update, apparently. CSO, it stands for Commissioner's Standard Ordinary. So every life contract in the biz is off of this particular mortality table. And what you got to do is you look up, are you male, female, smoker, non-smoker, preferred, standard, and how old are you? And it says, okay, and mortality tables are a funny thing. They don't tell you when you're going to die. They tell you how long you're going to live. You ever heard those funny things that say, if you have a husband and wife who are both 65, there's a 50% chance the husband will live to age 90 or the wife will live to age 90. Those all come off of mortality tables. So everyone in the biz uses this particular one. Premium charges, anyone know what premium charges are? Those are state taxes. That's for the privilege of doing business in the great state of Washington. They get their cut. I'll tell you, we equalize this charge. California is actually 7%. Texas is actually 7%. So again, we levelize that charge for all of the states that we do business in, okay? So you guys are paying a little bit extra for California and Texas, probably. Maybe you're not. Maybe Washington is 8. Who knows? So that's 10% for the first 7 years, and then it's 3% for years 11 on. I'll tell you, we hide a little bit of your commission in that charge. Look at we hide it in 2 places. If you look at page 7 to 15 that we're all on, see the third column over? Remember I told you that admin charge was $12 a month, right? So $12 times 12 months is $144. Well, you can see here on the third column over that it's $780 for the first 5, and then it's $144 after that. That is us hiding your commissions. So that issue charge, that's you guys getting paid. The other place we have it hidden is under that premium charge. That 7%, we tuck in some of your commission in there too. And I'll tell you, there are some companies, when you look inside of their prospectus, you will actually see, it'll say sales charge, but they may have a 6th charge, and it'll actually say, like New York Life, for example, you pay, I think, 4% for like the first 15 years. And they'll say sales charge. That's just the commission right there. So we hide ours. Some people actually say outright what it is. So again, that's why you got to get comfortable with the prospectus, because if you're really going to maybe feel confident about what we have and also talk openly about what the competition's doing, and I'll tell you, you can Google this stuff. That's how I know the numbers about Northwestern Mutual and New York Life and MetLife. I just Google their prospectus. And ours is not online or accessible to the public, but all of those companies are. So it's kind of cool. Anyone have any questions about expenses? Okay. Oh, it's important to note that we do have a guaranteed bucket inside of VUL. I know when you guys took your Series 6 test, you heard you can never say the word guaranteed, but we actually do have a guarantee. This fixed account here is guaranteed at 2.5%. Historically, it's been 3%, but because of the interest rate environment that we are in right now, and again, if you've gone down to your bank and seen those CDs are paying 0.07% or whatever it is, we are having a hard time. That's how insurance companies make a lot of their money, is by reinvesting the surpluses to earn interest on our money, and we're having a hard time doing that right now. So we dropped down to our guaranteed minimum of 2.5%. So it's nice. If you have a client, Colleen, if you have a client who says, Colleen, I know I need to participate in the market to get a higher rate of return to outpace inflation, but I'm scared. I'll tell you, putting half the money into the fixed account and half the money maybe into a balanced portfolio, that would inevitably give your client probably a better rate of return than that in our FEUL. I'm not picking on FEUL today, but I'll tell you, the flexibility here is so nice. I talked about that when we started this conversation, the flexibility of VUL. You can actually move in and out of these sub-accounts 12 times a year. So again, if you are in an FEUL, a regular fixed UL, Charles, Farmer's Life is going to tell you what you earn. They're going to say, Charles, you earn 3%. Like it. Smile, Charles, you know? And Charles says, well, maybe I don't want to earn 3%. Maybe I want to have the opportunity to earn a higher rate of return. Maybe I want guarantees. Maybe I want something middle of the road. So that's why the flexibility in VUL, you can get the guarantees if you absolutely need them. You can get them somewhere in the middle, or you can put it all on red, right? You have that flexibility. That's why I love, this is really my go-to product that I use, because clients really appreciate that. Because again, in a contract expected to be around 50 years, maybe they're conservative right now, but you know, trust me, when they hear their buddy at the water cooler is getting 20% rate of return, they're going to be, Colleen, why am I not getting 20? You know, they're going to want to change inevitably.
So I think,
yeah,
just I want to be clear, you're saying basically anybody with a securities license should probably use this instead of the FEUL, even if you're just going to pump the money into the fixed account, right? Because at least they can change their mind at some point in the future.
They are, and you bring up a good point. If your client wants to go 100% into the fixed account, though, they have to leave it there for a year.
Okay.
You can move 12 times a year if you're in this other stuff. But if you go in here 100%, you got to leave it there for 12 months.
But if they go 90-10 or something?
Yeah, or if you're dollar cost averaging.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you're going, okay, I'm kind of nervous about the volatility. I want a dollar cost average. I'm going 100% into fixed, and I'm using dollar cost averaging on the next page to move into the balanced portfolio. Okay. Hopefully you guys can tell I just love life insurance, and that Misfortune 101, please pick it up. Another great book that will really make you so passionate and so excited about life insurance is called Tax-Free Retirement by Patrick Kelly. And I'll tell you, Darren, they have a group rate that you get you buy 20 books, it's like $7 a piece. It's something crazy. I think I have it right there too. Yeah, Tax-Free Retirement. I mean, it makes you, it is the best book if you want to get excited about life insurance. Okay, so you guys all have in front of you, and they're all packaged up nicely right now, SAM flip charts. Here's why I like the SAM flip charts. Here's why I like the SAM portfolios in general. When you're having a conversation with your clients, you know, they are going to leave your office and they're probably going to remember about, what, 5 or 10% of what you say, right? They're going to say, okay, Ruth told me I earn 10% every year, right? It says it right here, right? So that's why I love the SAM portfolios. These things are managed to a particular target, okay? So there's 5 portfolios. They line up real nicely with our risk tolerance and our time horizon questionnaire. Because again, when you do that new account form, or it's called customer account profile, whatever it's called now, they change the name all the time. Gives our client a score of 1 through 5. 1 being conservative, 5 being aggressive. All right, Ruth, you're a 3. 1, 2, 3. It falls so nicely with the SAM portfolios. And here's how they manage them. They only want flexible income to earn 4.5%, period. You guys can all see it on the screen here too. They only want conservative balance to earn 5 to 6%. They only want balance to earn 7 to 8, conservative growth 8 to 9, and strategic growth 10 to 12. So because my client leaves my office going, okay, Rachel said I get 10%, no volatility, right? That's what they probably remember. I want a portfolio that is trying to do what my clients think it should do. Not trying to hit the cover off the ball here, trying to get some singles and doubles consistently. These are managed on a daily basis. They are not just making moves in these portfolios because of what's going on in the stock market, but what's going on with interest rates, oil, the Middle East. I mean, they are making moves, small tweaks to these all the time, so you're not going to have the volatility. And I'll tell you, back in 2008, when my American Funds portfolio was down almost 50%, it was down 48% for what I have in my Roth, my SAM Strategic Growth portfolio was only down 28. Now, I know that doesn't sound big, but that's actually huge. I mean, again, because first and foremost, guys, this is permanent life insurance, right? This is, at its foundation, is designed to protect our clients' families. So I don't want those peaks and valleys. I mean, if you really had a client properly funding this policy and a client who had a tremendously high risk tolerance, you'd be well served to go into the Fidelity VIP Index 500 because it's the least expensive. But it literally looks like this. I mean, it's the